God was there when I went to prison. He was there after I came out of prison. He was there really all of my life. I just had to go through all this to know whose I was and who he was, you know, and he kept me through it.
What's going on, guys? So welcome to another episode of Tons of Wisdom. Today we got a special guest, Miss Marsha Sanders. I tell her so much offline till she tired of me saying it. Like, she's a superstar in my eyes. She's legendary. Man, I can't even think of too many words to describe her. Like, she don't even know that I pull so much strength from her just by her just keep going. You know, I seen her always just come up to problems and she finds a solution to go through them. You know, a lot of us do that, right? A lot of people don't know we all just sit back and watch. But we might not have gave the person they fly ever brought it up to them. And it's kind of one of these situations where she don't even know how I watch her more than that she probably know. And I pick up a lot of strength from her, and I pick up a lot of ideas and advice on what to do next. Not to complain, just keep going. So, like I said, guys, we got Miss Marsha Sanders here today, and we're gonna pretty much have a special episode for you guys. There's gonna be a lot of things you probably don't even know about us. You don't know about our history together, but this lady right here, the one helped make me who I am. I wouldn't be here without her. And I'm not ever scared to let her know that. I would not be here without her. She's a big part of my life. So I just want to let her know that. So welcome in, Marsha. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. And it's a pleasure to do this podcast for my Nick.
Okay, I truly appreciate it. All right. So how you doing today, Miss Marsha?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was a little scared yesterday of the storm. Everybody just like, be careful, make sure you prepare before you go to bed. But man, thank God, like we just got a little wind and rain and tornadoes. So I woke up like, man, I appreciate God for real, because that was advertising bad weather. I thought something about to go down.
It's a blessing to be here, but he got us. That's all you got to remember.
You're exactly right. Yep. All right, so I guess let's get started. Because I got a lot of questions myself. Oh man, this is gonna be one of my favorite ones. So let's take it to the. First of all, who is Marsha Sanders?
Marsha Sanders is myself. She's I'm driven by the Lord helping me, as far as driven to make money, driven to help people, driven to love my family and my friends. And that's Marsha Sanders, and she's real.
I like that. All right, so Marsha Sanders, where did Miss Marsha Sanders' life begin as a little girl growing up? Was you born in Georgia, Massachusetts? Which one?
I was born in Georgia, Watley, Georgia. And at the age of 4, my mother moved us up to Massachusetts. And that's home for me, because I knew that place more than I knew Georgia. But we came every summer, every holiday. We would come and celebrate Christmas in the summer with the family. And I'm related to the Lattimores in Watley, Georgia. My grandfather was a Lattimore. And my mother, she was the 4th from the oldest, and she was very independent also. I get my strength from her. And my mother, she raised us up there. My father was there temporarily but the rest of the years was my mother. And we grew up in a housing project in Massachusetts. It was called Paul Bunker Drive. And my mother became the project manager of that project. And she was over the tenant association. So she was the voice for the tenants. And, the project was outdated. They needed updated kitchens and updated bathrooms, and they needed tile on the floor. And my mother was the one who actually went to Washington, D.C. in front of the house to get all projects all over the whole world in America upgraded. So my mother was the voice behind all the projects. And I feel that I get my strength from my mother because I'm very independent, I'm outspoken, and I I'll speak up for those who need it the most.
Mm.
That's my
Man, that's a mouthful right there. Like that, just that little bit describes all of you. And now I see who you get a lot of it from. Man,
Yeah,
so I did not know your mother, like she took up that time and you got a chance to see that,
yeah.
man. So okay, so about how old were you when your mom had that type of career going on?
I had to be about 13, 14.
Okay, about 13 or 14.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Was you working at that time, like doing little
yeah.
small hustles,
Yes,
maybe like
yes.
selling?
My mother always made us work. There was a program for the summer called CETA, and we
Mm-hmm.
were out there working. I was a playground leader. I also worked in the CETA program in the office part. They paid us to work. I did daycare in the summer with different programs. So they kept us busy, and we made
Mm,
minimum wage, and we had pocket money, kept us from getting in trouble. And
mm,
I had an aunt, you're probably familiar with her. Her name was Dora. Her
mm-hmm.
maiden name was Brown. She had married my mother's brother, and she became a Lattimore. And she was very independent also, and she worked at the CETA program. She was one of the head people in there, and she made sure that all the kids in the projects had jobs for the summer, and she just made sure we stayed out of the street. She was like the mother hen.
Wow. When you said that, wow, that took me back to, of course, our story where when you put me up under your wings around that same age and kind of made sure I stayed out of the streets. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, so
Mhm.
cool. So you probably like 13, you got a job, uh, you figuring out life, you got a little money in your pocket, you got a little spending money to go to. Who did you grow up with? Like your sisters, your brothers, your cousins?
Yes, I grew up with my sisters. I had two sisters and three brothers. Um, and well, two brothers at the time. My mother ended up getting remarried, and she had my baby brother Jay. And I grew up. We grew up good. My mother, she worked at General Motors, so we had to be alone a lot. Because she worked nights, and she had to sleep in the day, and then she'll go to work by the time we get out of school. But she made sure we were provided for. My sister was at the age, she was 2 years older than me, so she became my mother and
Mm.
our babysitter at the same time. And of course, Aunt Dora would come over there and make sure we doing everything we supposed to be doing. She would check on us. And so we had a lot of guidance. We grew up in a church. Every Sunday we went to church. We did programs at night. We were in choirs, and we had to sing. I never was the singing voice. My sisters had it, but I didn't have it. And but I made noise.
That's all that matter, right?
That's right. Made noise. And as from growing up from there, I end up becoming pregnant at the age of 18.
Didn't I just hear you ask someone who purchased mobile homes because you trying to get rid of yours? I thought I heard that. I thought I did. Guess what? You got in contact with the right people. We do purchase mobile homes as long as they 1992 or newer. You might have one on land that you're trying to get rid of. You might have one in a mobile home park that you're trying to get rid of. Either way, it's fine. We'll take them all. So you might also ask us, Nick, where are you guys purchasing the mobile homes at? Well, guess what? We purchase them all over the country. So wherever you have a mobile home at that you're trying to get rid of, that's totally fine with us. We will purchase it. So go ahead and add our page, NG Home Solutions, the #1 mobile home buyers. That's right. NG Home Solutions, the #1 mobile home buyer. So go ahead and message us with whatever mobile home or mobile homes you're trying to get rid of, and we'll be in contact with you ASAP. All right, back to the episode.
And I became a single parent. So, of course, we lived in a project. I ended up getting a project. And me and my daughter stayed there till she was about 3 or 4. And then after that, I moved to Florida. I always wanted to go to Florida. I wanted to go somewhere where it was hot, where it didn't have no snow. And Florida was the state for me. So I moved there. I stayed there exactly 4 years. And after Florida, I came to Georgia. And I was in Watley, Georgia. I did a little working. And back then, my life had led me the wrong way. So I was a stripper. I used to dance at clubs, but that's how I made my money. And I ended up going to Atlanta. I tried it there, didn't like it. So I ended up doing waitressing. And then after that, I worked for AT&T Broadband. And there I got kind of independent, but my life still was unstable. And I was on drugs. I had that drug habit when I left Massachusetts. So I was on crack cocaine. And from the crack cocaine, it got me doing things illegally that led me to go to the prison system in Georgia. And I stayed in prison 7 years total. And from there, that's where I found the Lord. I started going to the church programs and everything. And from there, that's where I found peace from being locked up, because God was right there. He was always present with me. And so from there, I began to walk by faith and not by sight, because every day I woke up, it seemed like I'll never get out of there. It seemed like them doors would never open. And from there, I told the Lord, once I get out of here, I'm going to do everything in my power to live right. And I did. And once I got out, I was back in Atlanta. And
so let's stop right there. Let's start right there. That's a lot. That's a lot to unpack right there.
Okay.
All right, that's a lot to unpack. So you don't went from to Florida, then to Georgia.
Yes.
So in Massachusetts, you said you had you pretty much had your little girl when you was about what 18. You say about 18, you got your own apartment and everything.
Right.
Okay. So how old were you when you had your first daughter?
I only have one. I was 18 when she was born. 17, I was pregnant.
Okay. So you know, I know a lot of people look at situations like that as bad, right? But as you grow, you realize there's good and bad with everything you do in life. Everything in life has an opposite coin to it. So with
That's
that
right.
being said, right, if you have an 18-year-old or someone around the age that's watching this right now, what was some of the bad things that you went through to try to kind of help an 18-year-old kind of not go through that same situation? And then once you answer that, what are some things you learned um, while going through that? Because it's your life, right? It's your story. So what are some things you learned from going through that period of time that help you on down the line?
Okay. From going through what I went through as far as having my child and raising her on my own, I was I was scared. You
Mm,
know, it was hard to find a job because there was nobody to babysit. Nobody wanted to babysit. And at the time, they didn't have daycares like they have now. And
mm,
so you would depend on neighbors or the little kids that you babysat for to watch her while you go and try to make some money. But it was always hard because the kids that I babysat for were still in school. So
mm,
that tied me down with not working. And with not working, it causes you to get into things you ain't supposed to get into. And
mm,
that's what led to the drugs. And right now, what my advice to the younger generation is to stay strong because you got so much help out here.
mm,
And you can get free daycare. You can get this. Don't give up because there's life at the end of the tunnel because you can go out and work. I didn't have that opportunity. So, and I just want you to stay strong and don't get on no drugs because drugs is the wrong way to go.
mm,
And just don't ever let your children see you do drugs because that affect their future.
mm,
So just try to be stronger than you are because without that kind of life, your kids will have a better life because they'll be virgins to drugs and they'll never see the outcome what comes to it or
mm,
through it.
mm. Man, no, you definitely right. And like you said though, man, we don't ever deal the cards to ourselves. You know, we just take the cards that's dealt to us, and we
That's
just have
right.
to play the hand. And you
Mm.
know, that's one thing I preach to a lot of people is like, don't like we all in the same boiling pot, just having a slightly different experience. But really, when you talk to each other and you have the conversation, we all really having the same experience. We just don't never talk to each other enough because we keep our secrets hidden from each other.
That's
So
right.
what you just said, like, no, like, look, you just had to do what you had to do and you learn. But look at you now, like God turned your life around, and now you're
Yeah.
up here having a conversation because you could have been dead, right? You kind of got
Been
off
there. Could have
right,
been there.
seriously. So look, you sitting here having this conversation now, so that means a lot. Like you made it through something.
Hmm.
Okay. So all right, so you say you went to Florida, right? So okay, so you was 18 when you had your daughter, and then you say
Hmm.
you left Massachusetts and went to Florida. About how old was you when you went to Florida?
I was about 19, 20.
Okay, couple years from then.
Yes. My daughter had to be about two, yes. And I became a dancer there. That's where I started dancing. It was about 20, 21 at the most. I think back then the drinking age was 18. So I became a dancer and dancing in the clubs. I realized me being a dark skinned woman, I was actually beautiful being on the stage because I became the star of the club because of my darkness.
Because it
And
was that light skin era back then, where like kind of if you light,
yes,
you was the most seeked after. I got you.
yes, because in Massachusetts, there wasn't too many dark-skinned people
Yeah, you're right.
in the city of Taunton, where I grew up. It was always the white girls and the light-skinned girls. You know, they call themselves Cape Verdeans up there. There's an island there in between Africa and Portugal, the Cape Verdeans come from. And what happened, the Portuguese white men went to Africa and they snatched a bunch of African women and brought them on this island, and it's in between Africa and Portugal. You can look it up. And they raped them women, end up having families with these women. And that's what is a lot up in Massachusetts, is the Cape Verdean women.
Mm.
And they're real light skinned, they're biracial kids, really. And but they spoke Portuguese. And
Mm.
speech in between Portuguese and Africa. They had their own dialect. And so that's what I grew up with, was white people and Cape Verdeans. So being dark skinned in the city I grew up with was like taboo.
Mm.
Everybody teased you, everybody this. And then when I went to Florida and found out I was beautiful just for being dark, um, I, that's the life I started living and believing in, because everybody called me beautiful,
Mm.
you know. And I always thought being dark skinned was ugly.
Man, man, you said a lot then. Like, so this was probably in the what? What years you think this was?
That was in the 80s. I had my daughter in 82. So about 84, I was in Florida. And for me being there, and so being in Florida and being in the lifestyle I was in, dancing, I met a lot of rich, influential white men, and they would buy me cars, condominiums, and that's what made me think I was beautiful, you know, just because they were buying me. And and I learned to love myself,
Mm.
even though the lifestyle I was living. And when I after that, I moved to Georgia. I only stayed in Florida about 3 years. And I moved to Georgia because I wanted to be around more people like me. And in Florida, it was almost the same as being in Boston, a lot of white people. Um, and I wanted to be around my people.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved to Atlanta from there. Well, I went to Watley first, stayed there about a couple of months, then moved to Atlanta. And that's where I became independent, trying to make it, trying to make the ends meet, trying to work a regular job. And there I found I didn't have that strength or power, and I got on drugs.
Mm.
And from there, I started trying to support my drug habit. So I would make payroll checks. They had a machine and I would make payroll checks. And I had people all over Atlanta cashing them. And eventually we got caught on our way to Tennessee. We even had fake birth certificates we would make, and fake IDs to get the IDs we needed to cash checks in whatever state we were doing it in. And eventually we got caught going up to Tennessee. And the young man I was taking up there to get the ID, my car broke down in between Calhoun and Marietta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I told them to take the checks and go up there to the store and cash it, because I needed $400 more. I think it was like $3,000 to fix the car, and I only needed 400 more. And I gave them a check to go cash, and they got caught. And they end up bringing the police to where I was getting the car fixed. And
What?
I was sitting in the car. You heard me?
Yeah, I heard you. I couldn't believe it.
Yes. And I was sitting in the car and I seen all these plain cars. They were black cars pulling up with white men with collars, in suits. And I just knew I was in trouble because it was too many coming. There was no police cars, but they were unmarked cars. So the life I lived, I had a machine and we made IDs. We did a lot and we made the checks. So I knew I was in trouble. But before they could get in there, I had a Lincoln then, and I put all the IDs in the window. You know where the window go up and down?
Yep.
I put all of them, start shoving them in there and shoving the checks in there, so they never found them.
That was smart.
And when they brought me to the jail, they questioning me, and the two boys told on me and told what I was doing, but they still didn't have the proof. But they had the proof that they had that check. So I still end up going down because of that check, even though they have proof. Because at that time I didn't know the law.
Right.
And so I end up going to prison. And I stayed in prison for a total of 7 years. And between the prison and the county jail. And I did 7 years, and then that's where I told you I found the Lord. And so now I'm out here in Augusta, Georgia, and I'm helping. Okay.
Yeah.
Going too fast.
Let's unpack. So, all right. So you get caught up. About how old were you then?
Oh, I was about 25.
About
Yeah.
25. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're about 25 at that time, and you living in Georgia. All right. So you came from Florida. So about how old were you when you left Florida?
I left Florida, I was about 23.
Okay. Still
Yeah.
about 23. Okay. So you left Massachusetts about 18, Florida about 23. Now you're in Georgia about 25. Okay. At this point, um, do you know what you're gonna do with life yet, or is you still just trying to figure it out at this point?
Trying to figure it out.
Mm,
Trying to figure it out. I was just in a tornado, just going round and round trying to figure out what my life's gonna be like.
mm. At this point, though, do you realize that, hey, working is not really for me? Because I know back then it was a little different. You didn't have many black entrepreneurs like you did, right? But a lot of people worked. So back then, I know you said, you kind of need a fast money for your drug addiction. So at that point, was you needing money for your drug addiction, or did you realize, like, look here, I'm not gonna really work for anybody. Like, I'm gonna have to try to figure this thing out. Like, what kind of led you to not working for anyone for long? Was it the drug addiction you needed that money, or did you realize this is my lifestyle?
Because the money was too slow
Mm,
the other way, going to work. And then you have
mm,
to wait a week to get paid, and sometimes 2 weeks to get paid. And meanwhile, you still got life going on around you. And if I gotta wait 2 weeks and my light bill's due now, what am I supposed to do?
right.
You know? And that just wasn't for me. So I had to get out there and go make it.
Yeah.
And that's why I started hustling. And but I hustled, and now I had a bigger drug habit
Mm,
with the hustling because it was so much money. It was thousands of dollars coming in a day. And I I was doing drugs because the people I was getting the stuff for, most of the stuff, because with the payroll checks, we made money that went to the drug man. And then we also made personal checks. And with the personal checks, we would, we had a, I didn't have it, but somebody I knew had it, had an ID machine where they made the state licenses and IDs. So with that, we could go, we would have U-Haul trucks going, getting furniture. We have a notebook full of people that actually wanted furniture, wanted whatever for their house. And we would have them go to the store, get the number of whatever um, living room set or bedroom set you want. And we would go in there and get that same bedroom set, pay for it with a check. They load it in the U-Haul and we'll deliver it to their house. And it might cost about $6,000. They had to pay us $3,000. And we would charge half price. And that was the lifestyle I was living. So with that much money coming in a day, it allowed me to pay my bills and support my drug habit.
Okay. Okay, so man, like you said, now at this point, you know, you figured out a hustle, you starting to provide for yourself, you're making money, but man, it just the drugs just kind of get in the way. It's hard to shake the drugs. Now, and I know how that goes. I used to be a big weed smoker myself. Like sometimes the thing that we think working for us is not really working for us. Right. And then you realize money and drugs don't mix. You finna mess up somewhere down the road. So with that being said, right? So pretty much now you kind of went down. They end up finding the check. The guy was telling on you and everything. So now pretty much you got to take a sit down. So you're about 25 years old. You got to sit down. What's going through your mind at this point? Because you got a daughter. You own drugs. You kind of addicted to fast money at this point, and now you realize it just got real. What's going through your mind at this point?
What's going through my mind was hurting my daughter, hurting my family, and I want to go out and live a better life, a normal life, without drugs, without hustling. And I just had to bow down. I cried, I was depressed, and I just started praying. And my roommate that was in the prison, she would go to church all the time. And she's like, why don't you come? I said, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But I start going. And we grew up in the church, and I was really ashamed of the lifestyle I lived. Yeah. And that's why I turned my back on the Lord, because of the way I was living. Yeah. And I knew it was the wrong way to live.
Yeah.
And I started going to church, and I'm always a crybaby. I'm still a crybaby in church. They sing a song, I'm crying. And so the crying was really like washing away all the sins. That's what I felt the crying was doing. And so I just started walking by faith and believing in prison and praying, and I had nothing but time to read the Bible. And after that, I just got my power. And I started walking by faith and not by sight, and start believing more in myself. And then the doors finally opened. When the doors opened, he allowed me to find a good job. It was with it was AT&T broadband. That's what the cable was back then. And so I was one of the people you talk to on the phone. do the troubleshooting with you over the phone about what's going on with your TV, your cable. And if I couldn't fix it, that's when I'll send a technician out there to fix it. And so I kind of liked the job. Pay was all right, but I had a friend that paid most of the bills. So I was kind of lucky that way because he was a good man. And my daughter, when I went to prison, he was the one taking care of my daughter. And so he became really her father because he did more for her than a real father did. And me and him to this day are still friends. We just go our separate ways and we stay in touch.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you this, right? So you say you did 7 years. Man, like how was that experience? Like that's 7 Christmases, you know? Like that's 7 birthdays. Like
it wasn't 7 years straight. I did 4 years, got back in trouble, and went back and did 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was this like right behind each other, like you did 4, then got out and went like right back?
Right back.
Man, so
the love of money. It was the love of money and how fast it was going. And, the job was good, but I was still broke, you know? And so I said, well, I'm going to do a couple of them, Then it led to a couple more. And
so what, you went back to the checks?
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of went back to what you knew worked.
Yeah. Even when I got out of prison and I was, where I live, and I did a couple more while I was in there. And that was to get me on my feet. But I never did it again. And from there, that's when I just started trying to figure out what business I'm going to. Well, I can cook, so let me open this restaurant.
So hold up. So how old were you when you got out that second time, the 3 years? Around how old?
32 or 33. 33.
Okay, 32 or 33. So at that point, like you said, so you pretty much like, look, this is it. Like it's not gonna work. Let me figure something else out.
Going back to that prison.
I got you. So did you have people come check on you, stuff like that? Like did you have
visitors?
Yeah, people come check, look after you or whatnot.
Yeah, I had people. A lot of my friends in Atlanta always sent me money on my books and whatnot. And I got one visit from my mother and my stepfather. They came down, and I was at Washington State Prison. And I cried like a baby the whole time. And I told them, don't come back.
Man.
It was hard.
I bet that's tough. I bet mom was so sad, and like I said, pops, I bet they were so sad. Man, I can just imagine that.
Yeah.
All right, so okay, so you got out. Now it's time to turn the page. I see this not going to work anymore. So what did you do next? What was your next income?
Okay, I started a restaurant called Diamond Wings and Things in Watley, Georgia.
That's when you started that? Wow.
That's when I started that. And me and Johnny Hunter, we built the thing. My uncle gave me the building. He's like, well, ain't nothing to do it, but stop talking about it and do it. Get that building I got. And me and Johnny made it happen. And the city gave me a hard time as far as putting it somewhere. They kept saying the land had to be zoned, and every land that I tried to buy, they kept saying it wasn't zoned when I know it was zoned. So what I did was go to City Hall, and what's that lady that used to work at City Hall? I think I forgot her name. I said, let me see your zoning map, because everywhere I picked, they said it wasn't zoned.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed me the zoning map. I took a picture of it. I went to my great grandmother's, my mother's grandmother. Yeah, my mother's mother had land in Watley, and that's the land I put it on, because I found out that land was zoned. And that's where Diamond Wings was. I never went back to the city and asked them anything but for a license, because I already figured out the land was zoned, and that's where I put it. And so Diamond Wings stayed open. I hated it because I didn't really like cooking. And but I did it, made it happen. And then the Chinese people came, and I was kind of glad, because everybody started going there, and that gave me an out. I'm like, good, I can start going back to Atlanta. I can have a life again, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started. I ended up going to Atlanta, and I met Muhammad, and I seen what they sold. And so from there, I talked them into giving it to me wholesale. I went to New York a few times to shop, and I figured I could shop right here in Atlanta, and no trip and no hotels. And it's just, it all adds out to about the same price. And so that's when I started selling clothes and shoes in my little Ford Focus. I had a Ford Focus, and I have the table in there, tent in there, shoes, clothes, pictures, everything. And I'll go city to city and set up my tent and start selling. And my average day, I would make about 400 or 500. And that was just selling pictures and, you know, little stuff. And then it got to the point when I started going out toward Valdeir and Dublin, and I seen who wanted the clothes and what they liked. They would tell me what to pick up, what name brand to get. And it was mostly the dope boys. So they became my bodyguards. And every city I went to, I had bodyguards there that would watch out for me and make sure nobody would rob me or my boys while we out there. And
Around what was this? Around what year was this when you kind of got started with? All right, so you got rid of the wing spot because, like you said, that just wasn't what you really wanted to do. You just need to start somewhere, start figuring it out. So the Chinese place came in. That was about what, 05? What?
That was, yeah, it was about 2008, I think.
Yeah.
About 2008. And then I started just selling what they wanted to buy there. And I started selling the clothes, the shoes, the jerseys. They were crazy about jerseys.
Yep.
And, I started selling whatever. And then you and Nato always told me what they want to wear and what they want to buy when you and Nato came in.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all always say, "Oh, get these Evisus or get these Ed Hardys," and y'all was turning me on to all the clothes. Yep, Chabos. Y'all was turning me on to stuff I didn't even know. So it was good working with the younger generation because they knew what they liked.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there. Cause I can, this right here can just, man, this can mean so much. Like, man, like you just said a mouthful. Because in today's society, you do not see the elders and the younger generation working together anymore. Like the world has drove a wedge in between them to where pretty much all the elders scared of the young generation. I mean, just completely scared of them. So now the young generation is just straight running wild. They don't know what. they don't have a clue. Like they're in that era where they don't know life yet. They haven't figured it out, so they're just crashing and burning everything that they come around. And
Right.
like no elders don't want to sit down and take the time out to tell them like, hey man, you need to stop doing this, and hey, let me show you how to do that. Because sooner or later you're gonna hit an age to where you're gonna realize what you was doing was crashing and burning, and you're gonna be able to make so many mistakes that you ain't gonna be able to come back from them. And I say
Right.
all that to say that's that was $1 million tip that I learned in business. That's something I probably would never forget, and I do it to today with different things. Like
Mm-hmm.
what happens is people forget to go back to the young generation to ask them what's their thoughts. And this is how a lot of businesses go wrong. A lot of people start a business and they immediately try to build a business off of what they think it should be or the way they see it or what they think people like. No, you got to go to the younger generation and ask them questions like what's trending right now? Like what's popping right now? Because they the one knows
They
what's
know
going on in the
what's going on and what's selling.
right.
Yep, that's what it was. I don't know who I took to New York with me. Um, I believe it was my nephews and my brother. They were younger, and they they were the ones who helped me pick out whatever shoes and jerseys and whatnot.
Was it Roe?
I didn't take Roe up there, I don't think. Did I?
Or
Did
was
he
it
ever say he went to Massachusetts?
I, I don't know, was it him alone?
Oh, I know who it was. It was Chris Cheese.
Yep.
It was Chris. I took Chris up there.
Mm-hmm.
And and so it was some more. I took some more because we drove up there to New York a few times. And I don't know who they all were. I think two of them were my cousins. Um, one was Greg, and I would have to ask Chris who it was, but we
Yeah.
went to New York, but I it was just too much happening. You be so busy looking around because so much going on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to get robbed in New York. And so that's when I decided everything they got in Atlanta, they in New York they have in Atlanta, and no need of making this trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sometimes like when the winter rolls in, it's hot here. So I would go to Boston and sell all the winter stuff in Boston. So
Mm.
that's why we would make trips up to Massachusetts and to get rid of the winter clothes and buy summer clothes.
Mm.
And I also made trips to Ohio and get rid of the winter clothes.
Mm. Real hustler.
Yep, hustler.
Real hustler. That's what I admire about you. Like, golly, man, I learned so much of that from you, like taking a risk. Like, of course, when I was younger around you, I didn't understand what that mean. But as I started getting older and I started just really hustling myself, and now I looked at a hustler and I looked at, man, you look like it wasn't nothing to say no for. Like if it made sense, yes, let's do it. And like you just said, that was like that's so smart. Like if it's hot down here and you got winter clothes left over, like, let's make the trip, y'all. Let's calculate, see how much we're gonna make. If it make the money make sense, let's do it. Why not? Like
That's
you
right.
never was scared to take the risk, and man, that's priceless. So all right, so you pretty much came back to the neighborhoods of Georgia. You done figured out, okay, where to get the product from. And like I said, all the dope boys pretty much want you to get jerseys, shoes, clothes, the whole 9 yards. Now you moving around Vidalia, all those different areas. So where did it go from there? When you started going to Vidalia, Dublin, like where did it go from there?
Okay, I used to ride the neighborhoods, but I got too big to ride the neighborhoods. So we end up at a flea market in Vidalia, and it was right next to Top Cat. And Top Cat sold the pocketbooks, and I sold all the name brand clothes and shoes.
So is this where I came in at?
That's where you came in at.
All right, guys, this is where I came in at, right? So I'm about 12 years old, 13, somewhere in there. And I used to buy a lot of shoes and clothes. I used to buy a lot of shoes and clothes from Marsha. Let's see, Tori Hudson, um,
Mm,
Dank,
yeah.
who else? Mika Williams. Man,
Hmm.
yup. I used to buy all the brand new Jordans, LRGs, Academic, Polo, Cool G, Tommy
Hmm.
Hilfiger, you name it, Evisu, Jabot. Golly, that was some good days. All the Air Forces, see-through Air Forces, the Jordans, you name it, y'all. So I used to spend so much money with them. To Marsha just pretty much like asked me one day, do I want to come out and help her? She want to give me an opportunity to like start making money. And that changed my life forever. I wouldn't be who I am today without that opportunity because that's where it started at. That's where I started to learn how to turn dollars. And what would happen was, I remember Marsha would say, all right, cool. So I want $40 for those Air Forces. And I'm just, no. So I'm not hit me. She was like $60. We were selling the Forces for like $60 then. She was like, I want
They were
like
50. They
50.
were 50, and the Jordans we were selling for 60. And I told y'all to make the price go up, and that's what y'all make, because I ain't paying y'all no more than $20 a day.
Hey, we get paid commission. You better go get it. Yep. And that's how it started, y'all. Man, that was everything though, because I remember being 12, 13 years old, you shy. Like, man, you don't know how to sell. You don't even talk to adults like that at that age. But man, that made me who I am. Because now I'm like, yeah, we'll do 70 for those shoes. And then people gonna talk you down. Well, I do 65. Can you do 65? And then you make it like 10, 15, 20, $25. Just depends on, how much you put your up cost for. And like she said, we should just go from flea market to flea market. And she just said Top Cat. Man, I forgot about Top Cat. So she took me back to there, man. Like setting up beside Top Cat, we had like different products. So if somebody come here for that, all they gotta do is look over here. Pretty much what we got matches with what's over there. So man, that's where I came in the picture. And now I'm 11, 12, 13. I got started in sales. And yeah, so now we're her. All right, Marsha, keep going with Top Cat.
Okay, Top Cat was pocketbook man, and I was the clothes person. We just got too big to go neighborhood to neighborhood. And so then we got too big for the flea market. There was cars all down the street on the main road, and that's when we got the store. And the store was right near a haircut barbershop place. So everybody from all the other cities came to that barbershop. So they just come next door and buy some clothes and shoes.
Yep. Getting fresh for the weekend.
That's right. Go to Top Cat and get the sunglasses, get whatever else.
Yep. Man, that was back then where nobody really didn't care. Was it, super authentic or not? Like, long as it looked good,
I
you
didn't
fly.
care. They called me the bootleg lady, but they study buying it.
Right, right, right. Like you said, nobody didn't care. The cats used to pull up with big wads of money in their pocket,
It
pull out
was.
5, 6, 700. All right, let me get that.
Right.
Golly.
Were you there when I got robbed? They took the whole truck, van one time, and then I didn't have much to sell, so I had to start back up with just white T-shirts. I got robbed in Atlanta. They took the whole van while me and Top Cat was up there shopping, and so I had to start back out with T-shirts and fitted caps, something I could afford to buy. And then eventually I built it back up. And they got me because my daughter was selling some of the stuff in Atlanta, but she's Smokey and the Bandit, like smoke, and that smoke can make you sleep. And she was tired, and the little boy kept calling me, and he kept saying, well, ma'am, every time I call her, she never comes. And so I was in town, so I went over there with the van, and they took the whole van from me, and they robbed me at gunpoint. And so I had to start over again in Vidalia. And another time they took it with me and Top Cat, and we was at the flea market on Cleveland. And so we had back then, because the tire guy, he always told us to park over there. He'll watch the van. They fix tires on the side. But I believe he was the one who set it up. And these guys, we're sitting in the truck. When we came out, all four tires were flat. And I'm like, the tires are flat. So I ran over there, dropped everything. Top Cat had to stand with my bags. And I went over there, and the window was open in the back of the van. They was the windows that open and shut like that. And so when I looked in the van, all the stuff was still in there. So, but the tires were flat, and we couldn't drive the car to the tire place because all tires were flat.
Right.
So we were waiting for the AAA to come to move the van over to the tire place. And Top Cat went back over to the tire place. So I was sitting in the van by myself. And all of a sudden this car come. It was SUV. That's when the pretty SUVs first start coming out. And they pulled in front of me, and I'm on the phone with Diamond. And I said, oh, that's a pretty SUV. And then all of a sudden the guy got out of the car right in front of my van, and he lifted his shirt up and pulled out this big old gun, and all I could do was lay on the horn and scream. And because the tire shop was there and the windows were open, and I was screaming, he got a gun, and I was laying on the horn, and the man just backed up and got back into the SUV, and he smirked when he did it, and he backed all the way out to Cleveland Ave, all the way out. He didn't turn around no way. He just backed out right on the main road so they wouldn't have a picture of his tag. And they never caught him. And but everybody wanted to kill you over that stuff, and that's why I stopped selling it.
Dang. How many times you think you got robbed?
3 times. When they came to my house, the one on Cleveland, and then another time I was leaving Atlanta and I stopped, and they got the whole van.
Dang.
And that made me shell-shocked. And I said, I'm done. These people will take you out for this stuff. It ain't worth it.
It ain't. Like,
and that's when I quit.
Around what year was this?
I don't even remember. I told you about when they came to my house.
They took the van out the yard or something. The one, your house in what, Watley?
In Watley. They didn't take nothing. They came in the truck. You know, remember Billy Brown used to be right across from me. He was an ex-sheriff. So Billy, I would call him and tell him somebody's coming over, and he'll sit on his porch with his gun and all that. Well, this day, Billy didn't come out. And the boys came, and they're like, we're outside. So one of them got out of the truck, and there was 2 still in the SUV. And I had my truck parked so the back would be facing Billy Brown's house. And so the boy who came on the truck, he said he wanted shorts, and it was real, real cold. So all my shorts was at the bottom. So I had to bend down to get them. And when I was bending down looking for 38s, I felt the truck move. And there was 2 other guys that got on, and they had these jackets. They had Spider-Man jackets, and I used to sell them too. And when they zip them all the way up, they had eyes, and they could see through the eyes, but you couldn't see through them.
I remember those jackets too.
And they came and robbed me with my own jackets. And I never found out who they were, but I had no idea.
Man,
Yeah.
do you think God's been good to you?
Yeah, he been protecting me through it all these guns getting pulled in my face and coming to my house, and yeah, he's been keeping me alive. And he kept me through. God was there when I went to prison. He was there after I came out of prison. He was there really all of my life. I just had to go through all this to know whose I was and who he was,
Mm.
you know. And he kept me through it, and he got me here in Augusta doing his work. And right now, I'm not hustling no more. I'm the brokest one out here, but I'm doing it. And I'm helping the homeless.
Brokest but riches.
Huh?
You said the brokest but the richest in spirit.
The riches in spirit
Which is really the richest.
is the riches. And I'm so content and I'm at peace. I don't have to worry about bills and whatnot because God keeping me going. Even and I'm out there helping the homeless. I'm driving all my gas out, but some way I still have money in my pocket,
Mm-hmm.
and that's God.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
you have a non-profit organization as well, right?
yes, I have a nonprofit organization called After the Storm. And the reason it's called After the Storm is because my life was the storm.
Mm.
So now after the storm, and the reason I can relate to all them out there, because I've been everywhere they've been. I've been homeless. I've been on drugs. I've been in prison. I've been abused. So everywhere they've been, I've been. And God just got me to be a living witness to them. And I just go out there and tell them where I've been and how God got me through, and God will get you through. Because without God, I would be nothing.
Man, you had this conversation probably like a couple months back. We was talking about that. Like, I look back over my life myself and I realize why I have passion for the people so much. And it's
Mm-hmm.
because, like you said, after the storm, when you're going through all of that stuff, you just trying to make your way out, and
Yes.
now we made our way out and we look back and we realize what God was doing. Because I look back over my life, I don't know how I made it out the streets. Like half of the stuff you don't even know about because I always rode, but I did a lot of my dirt by myself because I understood that, look, one thing about me, it's a saying that say, a smart man learn from his mistakes, but a wise man learn from the mistakes of others. So I
Right.
always was the wise man watching everybody else downfalls. So I was like, okay, you did that. Oh yeah, I know not to do that then. And that's what made me get a lot farther and not get caught. And I mean, I give the credit to God, right? But
Right.
that's what made me not get caught because I see everybody get caught. They rolling with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cats. One of them
Right.
cats gonna fold, but I'm from rolling by myself. Right. I'm not telling on myself at all. And I look back over my life too, like we was talking about, and I realized like God was like, look here, I'm gonna take you through the fire. And I'm gonna have you rub shoulders with all the head honchos, and then you're gonna make it out. So now when you tell your testimony, you tell your story, can't nobody say you were lying. Because the people seen it. Like you bump shoulder with the people that hold the most respect in these neighborhoods and in these places.
Mm-hmm.
And going through that, like you said, it made me, man, going through the streets, you know, dealing drugs, on drugs, like just, man, watching the bases, man, watching just like the broken families, like maybe a dad or a mom is there, man,
Mm-hmm.
watching people struggle with bills, man,
Right.
watching like how we get boxed into these hoods without even asking to be there, and then
Right.
we get boxed in by zip codes, and we get the worst of the foods and the worst of the water, the worst of everything, and now it's like, man, like that's why I can relate, and that's why I love the people so much, because like most people don't even understand what's really happening around them. They don't understand like this is a big game, and they don't even know they in a game that's being played. They don't even know that. So man, and that's why we click so much, because it's just that mutualness, hustler. Ain't taking no for an answer. Figure it out. Be there for the people. Because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen you be there for so many people, even when people probably ain't there for you, like you there for them. Like you
That's
said,
right.
like I think I said this the other day. I did. I said this probably had to be like last week. I was telling KT, I was like, man, most days when I'm gonna be real, like I don't even be wanting the money. Like I'd rather be downtown with the homeless, walking the streets, having a good conversation. Like I'll be like, all right, I'll be back. Let me go get us some food. Just hanging out with them. Like honestly, that's what I'd rather be doing versus being tied down to this money and tied down to majority of the stuff like that really don't have any true purpose behind it. Like I enjoy being around the less fortunate. Because like most people get caught up in the way that society pushes you. The society teaches you to abandon these people. They teach you not to look at these people, not to talk to these people. They pretty much teach you to turn your back on them. And you don't even
Right.
understand that these are the most valuable people on the planet because they've been through the most. These people that can tell you the stories that'll help you don't, go through the same mistakes that they've been through. And
There's
yeah, now go ahead.
there's accountants out there, there's business owners out there, there's realtors out there, there's everybody's out there. There's mothers out there, daddies out there, you know, but they just had a misfortune and they just don't know how they climb up and get up and
Mm-hmm.
shake it off. But that's why I'm there to make them get up and shake it off and keep on going.
You're right. No, you're exactly right. That one thing you always been good at, finding the light in someone. You seeing the light in the person and help them find the light in themselves. That's what you always been great at. Seeing the opportunity and bring it to them like, look here, you could be doing this right. Come on, let me show you how, let me help you do it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna just segue into this, right? Um, I watch you do that at a specific part of my life, and it changed my life as well. And it helped me be right here in front of the screen. Now I have the podcast Tons of Wisdom. And I remember in 2020 when I got back to Georgia, no, 2019, I got back to Georgia. And I was on top of the world. I had just left the oil field, making so much doggone money. And had side money while I really wasn't spending none of my oil field checks. Man, I was just swimming in money. And I have these talks with my wife. I told her, I said, we didn't go through anything. She's like, what you talking about? Like, we did go through something. I'm like, yeah, we went through a lot now. We went through a lot. But I got to thinking, like, we really didn't go through anything. And when I said that, she didn't understand what I was saying. And then I told her what I was saying. And she still quite didn't understand what I was saying from my perspective as a man, right? And what I was saying was, we had the money to buy the problems away. Like, if something comes up, all right, cool. Pew pew pew. This come up, all right, cool. Pew pew pew. Like, so I remember like not really having a relationship that I thought I should have with God, because I was creating my own world. I had the money. The money was just clouding all of that. And
The
I remember
root of
like
all
yesterday,
evil.
huh?
The root of all evil.
Yeah, and I loved it. I worshiped the money.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like yesterday just saying like, Nick, you up now, but what you gonna do when it's time to come down? And I sat there and I thought about that thing. And I was like, well, I don't know. Just keep balling, Nick. And that's what I kept doing. And I remember like 2019 came and I moved back and switched environments, came back to Georgia. Because when I left Georgia, I was in the streets. I was just getting out the streets. So like you said, like you getting fast money, like, man, you ain't worrying about no job, like you getting money, like you hustling. So you not on the wheel cycle of the money with the job, with the economy. Your cycle moving a lot
Right.
faster. So when I got
Right.
here, I went, I'm just moving forward with life. But I look back now, I'm just thinking like, man, I didn't understand. Like when I left, I was on fast money. Then when I went to North Dakota, I was still on big fast money. Then when I get back, and now I got a family though. So
Mhm.
it's no more big fast money. It's take your time, figure it out. Everybody got to be on the same page. And I remember, man, I went broke, because I'm like, all right, cool, let me figure it out. I probably bought the house, whatever I had left, I hit the streets and just like, let me start a pressure washer business. Let me start cutting grass. I went and bought a trailer, a lawnmower. Man, I just
Remember?
went and just bought because I just went back to what I knew. Like you said, when you go back to society, like, or your old environment, like you just go back to what you know used to work. And I used to have a grass cutting business like when I was in Georgia, and it was successful. When I got back here and started back cutting grass, it just didn't hit the same. That wasn't my where I was in life anymore. So man, I remember I ended up selling the trailer, and I ended up taking the doggone lawnmower back to Lowe's and got my money back. I'm like, nah, this ain't it. It got to be more to it. And I remember I called you like, look here, man, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm
Remember?
pretty much going broke. And at the point, I didn't even know you was still here in Atlanta. I did not know that. And
Mm-hmm.
you was here in Atlanta, and you told me to come over. And you was with Bobcat J. And I say all that to tie it back in, like, how you seen something in someone, you seen the opportunity, seen someone in someone, and put the play together, and you ran the play. So if you want to share like that part of the story of seeing an opportunity, seeing Bobcat J knew what he was struggling with, but knew what his light was in his life, and putting it all together, and then I call you, you tell me to come over. Now you showing me what y'all doing.
Okay. Well, once I moved to Jonesboro, I started. I was the Black Angie's List. So
Mm.
I just get all these contractors that got skills but wasn't doing nothing. And I see their work. I say, who did that? And they'll tell me I was doing garage doors. And this is how it started, the garage doors. My garage door broke. My friend Claudette was working at a company, and the company sold the big old grills, the master grills and stuff. And so she's like, give me a number. And this lady wants all these grills taken out of here, Chinese people, and thrown away and whatnot. So I found out how much the truck would cost me for that day. And I told her $6,000. So I went up to clear out the warehouse. I got some guys, and the grills were brand new. They were nice. And the first set, I threw them away. Then I said, you know what? I can make money with these grills. So I started packing them in my backyard, and we just started unloading all of them. We had a 16-foot, and we did 4 trips, and we would fill it up from the top to the bottom, and we would have them all stacked up in the back my backyard and close the gate so the HOA won't see it, so I
Right.
wouldn't get in trouble. And so every day after that, I charged her 6,000 something for the load, to get it away. But the money I made afterwards, and I just started putting the grills together, me and the homeless guy, and we putting it together, and we just had a traffic jam coming down my neighborhood. So the HOA people seen it and said,
Wow.
you can't run no business in your yard. And it was Mr. Eddie. I told Mr. Eddie, leave me alone. Worry about your own yard. Don't worry about what's going on over here. And
All in
then
my yard.
this ain't no business. I'm selling barbecue grills. I'm putting them together and selling them. Now leave me alone. He started laughing. He left me alone. And So I did have a traffic jam coming down the neighborhood, and we had over 1,000 something grills, and we were putting them together, and we got them out. And that was a lot of money because the cheapest one I would sell for $300. The rest of them were 700, 800, whatever. But it kept me going. And then after we sold the barbecue grills, I didn't have no money. So that's when my garage door broke at that time with the grills. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to get the grills done. So my HOA man told me who we used, and he was too much money. So my neighbor told me Big A fixed his mama and daddy's. So he called him, and him and his wife came over, and we became friends from that day forward. And Big A fixed the garage door, and he wouldn't even charge me. I said, well, get a grill or something. And so me and his wife were sitting out there drinking a bottle of wine, and we turned around, he was done. And I said, I can create you a business. And he's like, you could. He was 6'3", and he talked with a deep voice. So I tried to talk like him, you could. And I said, I can. And so he ended up we end up starting a garage door business. And Big A and Bobby at his job would go put up grills after work every day because he was a welder. Well, Big A got so big he had to leave that job. And he just was successful with the garage doors. And then he ended up buying a box truck, and he did the box truck thing. But from there, I became the Black Angie's List. And I would be places, I see somebody working, and I'll just tell them I can find you work. And I would charge them 10%. And it was all God putting this all in my head. Wow. And made me who I was. And I would make a lot of money. Average day, some days would be 600, some days would be 1,400. And I wasn't doing that but sitting home.
Yeah. Because I remember you put me onto the garage door. Man, I had to book and all. Like, look,
yeah.
you order the parts right here. Like this, how if somebody call you, ask you, do they want this type of door? Oh, I mean, you broke it all down to me. Good old days.
Yep. And then I met Bobcat J. We were doing a deck. I found some guys who know how to do fences and decks. And we were doing a deck. And I couldn't even focus on the deck. I was just watching him go up and down with that Bobcat. And he turn around and he make the bucket look like it's the hand. And he'll be moving that dirt like he was doing with his hand. And so we went and got something to eat. I said, you want something to eat? He's like, yeah, I want to go. And he came, and I told him, you move that Bobcat so good. It's like you're using your hands. And I said, how much Mr. Eddie pay you? I'll be getting all in the man's business. And he's like, he paid me about $300 a day. I said, $300 a day. And I say, you can make so much more money if you let me be over you. He's like, you can get me work. I say, yeah, I can get you work. Well, how I'm going to get there? I said, I'll give you a ride there. I got him work, Bobcat work, and I just started filming him, putting it online, and people started hitting me up. And Bobcat J, he became very successful. He didn't need me no more. He was making $8,000 jobs to $10,000 jobs, and he don't need me no more. But we still stay in touch, and every time I go in Atlanta, me and him go out to eat.
Man,
yeah.
Cause I remember the fences. Like I remember you asked me, did I know how to do fencing? You like, well, just come on out, and you just watch the guy and learn from there. I remember I came out and did the fences for a little while, and and then like you said, Bobcat J. I remember we went to pick him up, and I remember you was telling me like, all right, cool. So I ordered the Bobcat. It'll be there at 8 in the morning. So I ordered the trailer. You know, we dumped the dirt in, so the trailer will be there. And then I remember I drove over to your house and we went to pick Bobcat J up, and then we went to the job site because I think This was around the time when they was just throwing these houses up left or right, and they wasn't
Right.
grading the
Mhm.
the backyards right, and the rain was
Right.
running down, and
Right.
you would knock on the doors and get to work and split the profit. And you was showing me how you broke that down. I'm like, what is doggone Marsha don't miss, boy?
I had to. God just always put it in my sight. And it's like, oh, money. I can make money, you know.
Man, like, but like you said though, if you didn't have your past, which a lot of people judge in this world
Mhm.
and look down on,
But I don't
you
care about them because they're not my master.
right. And what I'm getting at is though, if you didn't have that experience, you wouldn't have the eyeballs and the eyesight to see the opportunity.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I started from the bottom. Now I'm here. That's
Right.
all I can say.
Because I see it so much, like, because I've been on both sides. I work and I hustle. So I've been on the side where when I work, I couldn't identify opportunities because you're trained to see one way. You're trained,
Go
right, to get up, go do what somebody tell you to do, go back home, go to sleep. And you train to repeat that. So you never get a chance to exercise your thoughts, your ideas. Like you said,
right.
be a creator like God made you. You never get a chance to explore that. And because somebody else pretty much exploring it for you by giving you, instructions. So those are the things I like to highlight, right? Because people overlook that just because of brainwashing, the way they just been raised and trained. But man, without our past of bumping our heads, of being a little rebellious, of wanting more, of wanting to figure out more for ourselves, like without that, it's no being able to just ride down the road and just spot an opportunity like, oh, I can create some money off of that. That don't even exist. So, man, I just want to say that to you guys that's out there listening. Like, the number one rule is don't be judgmental. If you
Mm-hmm.
cannot be judgmental to the people that this society has taught you to go against, taught you to turn your back on, taught you to be judgmental towards these people, look down on them, cast them away, like all those people, if you are wise enough to not judge those people and actually go talk to these people would change your life tremendously. I mean, change your life because the world teaches you how to be perfect, and that's a lie. It's no thing is perfection, but the world teaches you school and the world teaches you how to be perfect. And what that does is teach you how to not take risks. So if you never take risks in your life, you'll never know who you're made out of, ever. So go find people that you know that did a little time, that was on drugs, or that ran the streets, or that didn't manage money correctly. Like, go find the people that made the ultimate states that this world outcast. Go actually find those people and talk to them because they're gonna help you get your life on track.
That's
So,
right.
all right, so man, so at this time, right? So we with Bobcat J. I see her do a couple jobs, and I'm like, a light bulb go off in my head because I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this. So at that point, I pretty much went and got me a crew. So I got me a crew of Hispanics. I had one cutting grass, I had one cutting trees, and I had one putting out pine straw. Golly, man. I talking now, it just took me back. Like, golly, man, sometimes I be forgetting about this stuff. I be so focused on just keep going forward. But I when I found me a little crew, man, I started doing pine straw. And I remember of course, like looking at the guys I grew up around doing the pine straw, like Killer, uh, like Tom, Ricky Lee, uh, man, all the heavy hitter pine straw cats. I remember just growing up seeing them do the pine straw, and I get up here, and now it's my time to do the pine straw. So I finally did it for the first time. I built the book of business of like 50 people, and man, I realized real quick though, you gotta be a special type of cat for that pine straw, cause that pine straw like you shooting dice. You know, you shooting dice, you squatting the whole time. And man, that next morning, but your thighs and legs so doggone sore from all that squatting. And it reminded me so quick that look here, everything ain't for everybody, certain stuff for certain people. And what I did is I took my book of business of like 50 people, and I tried to I knew a lot of cats from JC was coming up. They come up to Atlanta to do the jobs. And I was like, hey, I got this cat right here, want this amount of bells. I got this lady here, want this amount of bells. I'm like, man, just give me $50. You're gonna make like $250 or whatever, just give me $50. And so I was just trying to, subcontract my book of business out, but it didn't
Right.
work. Cat started shorting me over $50, $60, and it didn't work. And I remember a cat after that called me, and because my name started spreading, and he pretty much started wanting truckloads of it. This guy wanted like a couple big trucks a week. And I remember like calling around trying to get the big trucks to come in. And I had like other opportunities coming in. I just kind of backed off the pine scar. I realized it wasn't me. I tried it, like, it just ain't me. And then that's when I went to pressure washing. I went to pressure washing campers. No, I pressure washed houses first. And I'm out there just trying to figure it out. And pressure washing houses, making $400 a house, $300 a house. But I realized, like, this ain't me. So I'm just really trying all the old stuff in my life.
Trying to find yourself.
Trying to find myself. And that didn't work. So now my mind like work smarter, not harder. So that's when I went to pressure washing concrete. So you got the little disc, the surface cleaner. So now I'm pressure washing driveways and things like that. A little bit easy, but making about the same amount of money. So that started working out well, and I actually liked it. It was pretty cool because I can knock out a driveway in probably like 2 hours, or a little less, an hour and a half, and boom, made $200. Boom, I got to do one more. I made $400 a day. Boom, that 5 days a week, 2,000 a week. We cool. So did that for a little while, but man, when June, July, August come around,
nothing to do.
buddy, this ain't me right here. I can't be out here in this heat like this no more. Especially coming from North Dakota, like no, I'm used to the cold now, so I gave that away. And I remember that's when I got that crew together, my Hispanic guys, and I remember I went to a country club, and I remember I used to just pass this country club all the time. Like one day I'm gonna get back there, one day I'm gonna get back there, and I'm get back there now, and I'm gonna go dumb when I get back there now. And I remember I get a phone call one day off of one of my ads. And I was like, hey, I seen your ad. Can you come cut my grass and put some pine straw out? Because it's probably like April, something like this, March, April. And I'm like, yes, sir. Okay, cool. All right, here's the address. When you get to the gate, call me and I'll call the security guard and I'll have them let you back. So I'm like, let me back? What is that? So, sure enough, put the address in GPS, get to the gate, and I'm like, wow, this is it. I've dreamed of this day. Now, at this point in time in my life, I'm so doggone broke, I don't even know what to do. Like, I've never been this broke before. And now this is my first time, like, broke with a family. So I'm really freaking out. Like, kids probably like 1 year old. Man, I'm about to lose my doggone mind. And so, man, I remember getting back there, and it's a whole different world. I'm just riding past these houses like, you can never see this from the main road. Like, this is crazy. It's like Miami back here. And so us, right? Coming from Watley, like straight hustling, boy, I'm finna try to knock on every door out here, like for real. Like, and we get to the guy house, and so like you taught me, right? I get to the guy house, look at it, do the estimate. It's like, yeah, I'll charge you about $60 to cut the grass, and about this to do the pine straw. So I marketed again that same night and went and found the guy. So I said, I'm gonna come back out my guy though. I'm gonna make sure I gave you the correct estimate. So we went back out the next day. He looked at it. So I think I might have charged him like $60 for the grass, and I might have $80 for the grass, something like that. And I might have charged the guy that was cutting the grass something like he charged me like 60. So I made like $20, but I'm getting my feet wet, figuring out what the little trade you taught me, right? So while he cutting the grass, and now I'm driving the truck, knocking on doors, trying to find work ahead of him. So I knock on this one guy door, and this changed my life forever. And we still follow each other and everything, right? So I knock on this one door. I could see the pine straw was like done like either that day or yesterday. So I'm like, I'm still knocking anyway. I might can get it for next year. So he comes to the door, black man. So he like, how you doing, man? I'm like, I'm all right. I'm doing all right. How you doing? So he like, yeah, yeah, how can I help you? I was like, look here, man, I see your pine straw already done. So I'm just hoping I can possibly get it done for you next week. I mean, next year, probably for a cheaper price. He's like, yep, you sure right, man. You're a day too late. I just got it done yesterday. I'm like, dang. So he's like, well, just, I'll take your number, man. And next year, I might give you a call. So I'm like, all right, cool. Gave him a number. So I hop in my truck and I'm getting ready to back out. And he's like, hold up. So I'm like, all right. So he was like, I see you got this ball on the back of your truck. What you do with it? And I'm like, oh, I pull my boat with it. He was like, you pull your boat? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, you don't fish? I was like, no, I fish, man. I'm a heavy fisherman. He was like, man, stop playing, man. You don't fish, man. You just out here playing around with the ball on your truck, man. I'm like, no, man, I really do fish. He was like, you fish for real? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. He was like, pull your truck in the yard. So I'm like, pull my truck in the yard. All right, cool. So I'm like, where's this about to lead? Like, but me, right, ain't gonna even lie. Me being who I am, I'm always on some spontaneous stuff. Like God always working miracles on me or for me. And I already like the surprises I get in my life, they starting to not be surprised me anymore. So I already knew this was gonna be an opportunity or something crazy, right? So at the same time, I'm scared too, though. So I hop out slow. He like, come on, man, nobody ain't gonna hurt you. So I'm like, all right. So we started walking on the back of his house, and I think he about to show me some pressure washing or something. And I get on the back of the house, and I see the truck, and the truck got all these sponsors on it. And being a fisherman, any fisherman out here watching this, when you see that truck with all the sponsors on it, this is a professional bass fisherman. I lost my doggone mind. I was like, ain't no way. Man, I was about to cry. I'm about to cry now. Like, boy, I was like, ain't no way. Because you got to look at the context of this situation now. I'm broke. Like, I don't probably about $250,000, like, probably like $1,000 in my account. Like, don't know what to do next. Can't call nobody. Everything. I think I'm rich. Like mom and dad can only do so much. Like my wife and kids at home. I gotta figure it out. Like I'm at the lowest point of my life for the first time ever. And remember, I told you now when I was in North Dakota, I told myself, I say, you up now, but what you gonna do when it's time to come down? I was down. And that was playing over in my head because I didn't know what I was gonna do. But now I'm going through it. So when I seen that boat, that was like, it was God, like, just giving me hope to keep going. Like, cause like that wasn't no coincidence. Like that was not no coincidence because God knows like my whole dream as a jit was to be a professional angler. I always wanted to be a professional bass fisherman growing up. Saturday mornings, I always was watching professional bass fishing coming up. And so, man, when we walked around that corner, I seen that truck, like I like the lost. I went back to a little boy again. And so what he did, he went over to the garage, typed in the number, and the door came up. When the door came up, I seen this bass boat with all the sponsors on. He had his jerseys on the wall. And I'm like, why, God? Like, why you doing this right now? Like, why are you showing me this at my lowest point in my life? Like, that gave me all the fire in the world I needed now just to keep going. And like, I'm looking at the dude, I'm getting the water out. He laughing. Like, hey, it's all good, man. I know how it is. So I'm like, you a professional fisherman, man? He's like, yeah, I do this for a living. This is one of the things I do for a living. And I'm like, I just turned into a child, man. And so I'm like, can I get a picture with you? He's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I got the picture like on my vision board right now on the wall. Still, like, it's always remind me that was the lowest point of my life where I was just trying to figure it out. And till today, me and this guy still talk. We don't talk as often, right? But we stay in touch, right? And like I follow him on Facebook and everything. We follow each other, so I'm watching him fish tournaments like right now. So just to fast forward on that, right? How God pivoted again in my life. It's a lady. He sent me in this lowest season of my life. This was 2022. He sent me this lady through like one of my marketing campaigns. So my picture went on the marketing campaign. This lady didn't know who I was. This is how I knew it was God. This lady didn't even know who I was. So me and KT and the boys, like we man, it's crazy. Like we was all over Georgia for the last 5 years, just knocking down mobile homes. So she was a district manager for a mobile home park. So I get there and this lady wanted like $18,000 for this mobile home. Not to make the story too long, but she wanted like $18,000 for this mobile home. Because of the energy and the spirit of it all, this lady ended up giving us the house for $5,000.
Wow.
We sold the house and made $13,000. And
Wow.
we was broke. Man, we was broke. Man, we probably had like our last $1,500. Like, we didn't know how these bills were gonna get paid the next month.
Wow.
Like, that lady came out of nowhere. But I brought her up to say this. Like, last year, we talking to her, staying in touch. She said, I got this new job. She the CEO over one of these counties. I ain't gonna get too personal. But she the CEO of one of these counties departments. So
Wow.
she get to telling me her story. Man, I was gonna get this job and they tried to hold it back from me, this and that and the third. And this guy came in to help me out. It's like, no, she got the credentials. Get her lady the job she deserved. Tell me why she called a dude name and the dude was this dude.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, you know him?
Wow.
She's like, you know him? And I'm like, whoa, that's
Wow.
crazy how it's just a circle. We all knew each other
Okay.
and did not know each other, but God sent me both of them at the lowest point of my life. And they've been so
Yeah.
pivotal. And I'm like, and I can't even tell you what else he do on camera because it'll pinpointing too much. But
Right.
he's over a position and it's like, how? Like, and it's in real estate. And I'm like, how? And it's like, it's just crazy. It's just
Coming
crazy.
back, coming back to you.
But guess what, right? All of that led with you, just in case you didn't know. All of that started with you showing me what you did, and I just ran with it. And all of it created background, just background to me. And it's like, man, go ahead. Huh?
I said, high five.
Man, it's just so overwhelming. I'm just going back through the emotions of it all at that point in my life. But just to wrap that up, that's how I got into the mobile home industry. Because off of the advertising, a lady called me and she like, baby, I got a tree finna fall in my house and my grass is about taller than my house. I'm on a fixed income, baby. I'm 80 years old. My kids don't come see me. My grandkids don't come see me. Like, I just need some help. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. You know where we come from. You take care of your people. So
That's right.
I don't care if you're black, white, green, or purple. And it was a white lady. So I called my guys up, the one that cut the grass and the one that cut the trees. I said, go over there and take care of it. We're splitting the profit 80-20. And I say the 20% that I owe you, you just keep it. Just take care of her. This lady didn't even know I was at the brokest moment of my life. She didn't even know that. So I took care of her, right? Long story short, because I got my biography coming out soon. So y'all hear this story, the full breakdown of it all. But long story short, this lady, I took care of her. Like, I did not know this lady was finna pivot in my life. I did not know this. It's just me being just the kind person I am. And we took care of the lady. That lady called me back for a week straight and was like, baby, I just want to tell you thank you. I did not know it was still good people out there like you. Oh my God, I did not know this. My yard looks so good. I haven't seen my yard like this in so long. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, no problem at all. She was like, baby, what's your mama number? What's your daddy number? I just got to tell them they raised a good son. Like, for real, like, this lady will call me every morning, like 9 o'clock in the morning, like waking me up, telling me good morning, talking to, man, we don't even know each other. Like, this lady was calling me. So at that time, like I said, I'm still broke. I still trying to figure it out here in Atlanta and trying to figure out my new wave. And I had been studying real estate in that big truck in North Dakota for the whole 5 years I was up there. I'm listening to podcasts, audio books, learning taxes, commercial real estate, residential, wholesaling, the whole 9 yards. I quit rap music. I quit music. I was just zoned for the whole 5 years. So when I got back here, I was telling everybody I'm in the real estate, right? Trying to get a lead. Don't you know that lady ended up calling me back? Like, baby, I remember you told me you was in real estate. Yes, ma'am. Well, my son got a mobile home he trying to sell. He do? I mean, I don't know nothing about that no mobile home at this point. At this point, I'm like, all right, the mobile home, cool. like we said, hustlers know opportunity. So it's still housing. So in my mind, I had to learn the wholesaling strategy. So I'm like, you can wholesale anything, like we were saying, get a loaf from Muhammad, whoever, sell it how to Joe Blow over there.
That's
And
right.
so at that time, I got the number, called him. He's like, yeah, man, I want to get rid of this mobile home, man. I just bought a house. It's like 2020. It's 2020, like late 2020, I think, or 2021, one of them. And anyway, this was the times where mortgages were cheap and everybody was buying the house. The market was crazy at this point. So he bought a house, took advantage of the low interest rates, and he can't keep up with that lot rent, and he can't keep up with his mortgage at the same time. So he like, man, I need help getting rid of this doggone house. This is my mobile home. So long story short, I end up putting him up on a contract for like $4,500, and I end up assigning it to a buyer for I think like $14,500, and I made like $10,000 in like 3 days. I said,
Wow.
"Boy, they done messed up now. Boy, they done messed up now. Boy, your boy back. Your boy back. Boy, they done $10,000 in like 3 days. I said, it's over with. It's over. But I can do this 10,000 more times. So
that's right.
that was the start of the mobile home industry, and just to end that, right, at that time I was feeling so empty inside. I was feeling so empty, man. I had this spot just sitting in my gut. I just felt it literally felt like no oxygen was in that place. It's like a hole there.
Right.
That guy ended up calling me once it all said and done, like 4 days later. He said, Nick, I just want to tell you something. He said, it wasn't about you selling my mobile home. It was about your testimony you gave me that gonna change my life forever.
Wow.
Man, I bust out crying. Like I appreciate I got off the phone, man. I cried so hard like a baby. Like I never been through that type of struggle in my life with a family, man. Like to a point I was ready to kill myself, ready to blow my head off. Like, because you got to think about it. You know what I'm talking about as a hustler when you live in a lifestyle different from your family. When you live in a lifestyle, when you taking risks, your family never took. So they can't understand or fathom what you've been through, what you talking about, nothing. So to not be able to call nobody to bail you out, to not be able to call nobody to help you out, to not be able to call nobody to explain how you feeling, what you going through. But that's a whole different beast. That's a whole different ball game. Like you bottling all that in. But that created a bond with me and God. That bond I told you I was missing them last 5 years in North Dakota. He was like, all right, cool. Well, you're going to get the relationship back in the next 5. When you get back to Georgia, I'm going to make you come back to me. And that will happen. And I needed that. And I didn't know I needed that. But when he told me that, I wept out pretty good. I got back right. And then it's like he told me, now pay attention to that spot. And then my mind came in and it was like, it's gone. That empty spot gone. It's full. And I'm like, that's crazy. And then I remember thinking, I just sat there for a second. I thought back. I was like, I know what was going on. I turned selfish. I stopped doing my purpose. When you get too focused on the money, you lose your purpose.
You let God go.
You let God go.
Way to go.
Man. And I got off course. Yup. And yup. And that deal put me back on course. It gave me purpose again. And now I understand why God put me in the mobile home industry, to take care of my elders, because majority of the people I deal with in this industry, elder people that less fortunate, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the money. And so I make sure I be good to these people. I sometimes be too good to these people where they take advantage of me because they elder. Like some folks still finessing that 80, 90, but
yeah, they are.
Yeah, but
they don't have God. They don't have God, but when they think they're using you, they just building you up.
Yep. And that was it, Marshall. Now I'm here. 5+ years later, I'm here. Like I'm in the mobile home industry. I'm an expert. We buy used mobile homes. We sell used mobile home. We sell new manufactured home now. I just told you about that. We sell new manufactured home. We sell new modular homes. We offer affordable housing. But I just want to let you know, that started because of you. That started because of you. Because I tell people that all the time, like you, man, it ain't nobody but God using you through me, because you came in my life in two pivotal parts of my life. When I was 12 or 13, you the first person taught me sales, how to flip a dollar. From there, when you taught me how to flip the dollars, that was game over. But ain't no way I can look back. But it went from food, off the candy man. But I had the cigarettes, I had the doggone crackers, man, the Capri Suns, the Snickers, man. And then from there, like it went to the streets. I was shooting dice and playing talk and poker, and I was good. That's how I got good at numbers, because of playing talk a lot. You got to add them cards up. That's how I came so crazy with them numbers, just adding, adding, adding. And then there was dice and again, then hustling, making money. And then I got to the drugs, went to the streets, started selling drugs. Every drug you think of, I sold it. And then from there, like you said, the shoes and the clothes. I was the t-shirt man one time. I remember the trailer used to be bumping. Like people used to hit me up 2, 3 in the morning, like, "Hey, you got them t-shirts still?" Like, yeah, I got. All right, come meet me. Man, I was a t-shirt guy. You name it, I sold it. But that the sales started with you. And then 2019, come back to Georgia, go broke, call you back again, you give me another jump start. Like you hook the battery charger back up again. And then I took what you were doing and I ran with it. And I look where I'm at now. Like, God, to change my life. He done repivot me around. Like, we doing purpose work. We having this beautiful conversation. Like, this is what it's about. So I just want to give you your flowers.
Thank you. And I give you yours, because you're doing it. My hat goes off to you, because you're doing an awesome thing. And the best thing you're doing, you're keeping God first and you're keeping your family first. And that's the best thing you're doing. And you're keeping your family in it, and you love your family, and you love God also. And that's the way to go. And my hat go off to you, Mr.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And y'all, whoever watching, this is what Tons of Wisdom is about. Like, this is what it's about right here, love, giving back. We're so programmed to hate one another. We're so programmed to go against our elders. Like, we're so programmed to go against the youth. And we don't even understand we're all one. We all come from, where you think the tree started? The tree started from someone back in the days, and it came down to you. So before it got to you, it had to go to somebody's grandmother, like your great grandmother. Then it had to come down to your mother, your father, and now it made you. Like, we're all connected in one. No matter how this world try to divide you, you have to realize it takes a team, and that's the future and the past. And the future is the youth, and the past is the elders. You have to stay connected, because you will not get nowhere without each other. So this is what this is about, guys. Just spreading love, giving flowers to one another. Like,
it's all about
it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. So I think we pretty much gonna go ahead and try to wrap it up. Like, I'm full now. I can really talk now, and I can really talk for about 2 more hours, but we ain't gonna let it be too long. But Marsha, man, like, I just want to let you know you legendary. Like, you legendary. Like, you helped so many of us growing up. Man, some that I know, Big Country, Roll, Lone, Me, Cheese. Man, I know I'm missing a lot of them that came before me, before I came in.
So many.
So many.
So many after y'all, so many too. And it just keeps going on. And that's why God got me here. Build up my Black men, build up my people. So I'm going from the Black men to the women too. And I'm building them up. Sometimes I be hard, but I gotta be hard to make them hard, and make them right. And my hat go off to you, and I'm proud of you, Nick.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. We did it together.
That's right. With God. With God.
You're right. You're exactly right. Exactly right.
Right.
So
God bless you, and God bless your family, and thanks for having me on here.
Okay.
I feel like I don't deserve it, but thank you anyway.
Oh, you deserve it all. You look, you know me. I'm gonna give you all your flowers until you dead and gone. Either one of us, well, we can't see each other. I'm gonna give you all your flowers because that's what it's
When
about.
I go, I want you to speak at my funeral.
Okay. Well, guess what? We agreed to that. I'm gonna be standing up if it happened that way.
Okay. God bless you.
So, all right. Final words. Final words for the people out there. What final words do you have for the people today?
Just stay strong. Keep your eyes on God and your heart on God, and He'll direct your path. He'll guide you anyway into the right people, and that will guide, will lead you where you need to go. So that's what it's all about, God. It ain't about me. It ain't about Nick. It's about God.
That's it. And let God use you as a vessel. That's it.
That's right.
So
As a vessel, I'm just a vessel. I'm a tired vessel sometimes, but I still go.
I know that's right. Tell me about it.
God bless you, Nick, and God bless your family, and God bless everybody looking at this video. And may your life turn around too. In
Amen.
Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. So guess what? That concludes that. This will be another episode of Tons of Wisdom. We'll see you guys on the next one.